This lesson is about factors and factor pairs. Let's start by defining what a factor is. A factor is a number that can divide another number exactly, and by that I mean that there are no remainders left when dividing the bigger number. We can say that 6 is a factor of 24 because when we try dividing 24 by 6, we get a number with no remainder. So if we don't have a remainder, then the number is a factor, and 6 is a factor of 24. If we try to divide 24 by 7, we will end up getting a remainder. And in this case, we have 3 remainder 3, so 7 is not a factor of 24. Now let's try to have a look on the other numbers that we have. We have bubbles here, and we're going to write down the factors of the numbers that we have. Let's first start by looking at number 1. 1 has only a single factor, and that is 1, because 1 times 1 gives us 1, and no other numbers, no other whole numbers that we multiply will give us 1. For 2, it will be 1 and 2, because no other multiplication of whole numbers will give us 2 except than 1 times 2. The same is true for 1 times 3. For the number 3, the only factor that we have, the factors that we have for 3 are 1 and 3, because multiplying them together will only give us 3 and no other combination will give us 3. 4 is slightly different because it's not only 1 and 4, but we also have the number 2. We can say 2 by 2 gives us 4, and we can also say 1 times 4 gives us 4. What I'm writing down here is the factor pairs. So 1 has a single factor pair, that's 1 by 1, same for 2, and same for 3. 4 has two factor pairs because you can multiply 2 by 2 to get a 4, and 1 by 4 to get a 4. 5, there are only two numbers which you can multiply together to get 5, that is 1 and 5. For 6, it's different. We can multiply 1 and 6, and we can also multiply 2 and 3. So 6 has a lot of numbers. 1 times 6 and 2 times 3 are its factor pairs. For 7, it is just 1 and 7. We can write that down. 12 and 24 are more interesting. The first pairs that you should think of are 1 and the number itself. So this is the first pair of factors for the number 12. What else? What number comes after 1? 2. Is 12 divisible by 2? Yes. So 2 times what gives us 12? That is 6. So we have 4 pairs already, but we can keep moving on. 12 is divisible by 3. So when we divide it by 3, we can get a number, and that is 4. And 12 is divisible by 4, as well as 3. And it's also a factor of 12. So what we can see here is that 1 times 12 gives us 12. 2 times 6 gives us 12. And 3 times 4 gives us 12. All of these are factors of 12, and we can call them factor pairs of 12. Similar for 24, there's 1 and 24. There's 2 and 12. There is 6 and 4. And there is 3 and 8. So the factors of 24, the factor pairs of 24 can be written as follows. 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, and 4 times 6. So factor pairs are two whole numbers that provide another whole number when multiplied, and you can see here the factor pairs for those numbers. Prime numbers are numbers that only have two factors. It would be 1 and themselves. So 2 is a prime number, 3 is a prime number, 5 is a prime number, 7 is a prime number. I wrote some additional examples here like 11, 13, 17, and 19. All of those are prime numbers which only have two factors. A factor in common with all of them is 1, and their second factor is themselves. The same number would be their second factor. The question here is list the factors of 14. Always start by writing 1 times the number itself, 14, and then think to yourself, is that number divisible by 2? If it is, it would be 2 times the number that it could be multiplied by to provide us 14, and that would be 7. Is 14 divisible by 3? No. Is it but divisible by 4? No. Now we stop. We only can find that it has 2 factor pairs and 4 factors. Let's try that for 15. Start by 1 times 15. 15 is not divisible by 2, so there's nothing we can do, but it is divisible by 3, and it would be 3 times 5. It's not divisible by 4. It's divisible by 5, but we've written it down already. 6. It's not divisible by 6. And so we know we've gotten our factor pairs here. For 18, again, we start by 1 times 18. And then is it divisible by 2? Yes. 2 times 9. Is it divisible by 3? Yes. 3 times 6 gives us 18. Is it divisible by 4? No. Is it divisible by 5? No. 6, we've written it here. 7, no. 8, no. And 9, we've written it here. So it's got 3 factor pairs. Now we can look at the factor pairs of this one. The factor pairs of 30 are 1 times 30. It's divisible by 2, so that would be 2 times 15. It's divisible by 3, that would be 3 times 10. It's not divisible by 4, but it is divisible by 5, and that would be 5 times 6. Sorry, 5 times 6. It's not divisible by 7 or 8 or 9. So it's got all of those pairs for it. The same for 40. The factor pairs are 1 times 40, 2 times 20, to give us 40. It's not divisible by 3, but it's divisible by 4 times 10. It is divisible by 5 times 8. It's not divisible by 6 or 7, but we've got 8 here, and it's not divisible by 9. And these are the factor pairs